Hi, everyone. I'm Tipatat, general partner, co-founder of the Venture Reality Fund. We are the most successful early-stage VC in the XR and AI space. We've been doing it for over 10 years. My partner, Marco, and I, we started in 2016, even before the Rift had launched. We really believed in this sector, and we've invested in some of the biggest companies in the space, also some of the biggest failures in the space. So we've seen and heard everything, and I'm here to talk to you about what investors are looking for and why you shouldn't take investment. Really, I would say right now we are in a strange space. I will say the thing that investors look the most for is disruption. And we are going through the biggest disruption we've ever seen. And everyone's kind of sick of hearing it, but AI is finally like the dream of we're seeing innovation, disruption, adoption at a scale that we've never seen in technology before, right? And it's actually sucked up all of the air in the room. So investment, I think it was $425 billion of VC investment last year. That's up 30% from last year, all-time record high, right? 425 billion. You're like, that's a lot of money. Q1 is at 330 billion. And you know what? 80% of that is going to AI. In fact, 60% of that went to 4 AI companies, right? And so the rules have changed for VC, but the fundamentals still stays the same. And what VCs, like institutional investors, what we're looking for is not to help start your company, but to help scale your company, right? It's the pour gas on the fire thing. We won't help you create that spark, but we will be there to help you grow that into something that hopefully can be one of the big players, right? What's really interesting though is the AI disruption is actually really, really good for early stage startups because it's never been easier to create an early stage startup, right? Like before, you did need a lot more money to get an engineering team to build out your MVP. But with vibe coding and all these other things, right? It's so much easier to create at least a prototype or a demo, a functioning demo of what you're doing. And also the tooling's gotten a lot better. I mean, you guys, I believe a lot of you participate in the hackathon. You can see things are definitely maturing. A lot of other technology is coming into space to make this easier and faster. But I think the biggest problem that XR faces is that you're up against AI startups. And fundamentally, right, if you're trying to sell a company, hey, adopt my XR solution versus this AI solution, but this AI solution doesn't need a new device, and it can get huge gains for minimum cost, then all of a sudden an XR solution doesn't seem as attractive necessarily. And so what I say to that is there's a combination of things. First, you have to think, what is XR? And XR is the interface for AI, right? And so it's not a us versus them. It's really a, hey, we're part of the same thing. And where does XR make the difference in certain AI implementations to actually make it not just the cherry on top, but a fundamental transformation, right? And so I'd focus on those opportunities. I'd also focus on this idea, too, of, it's interesting, and part of it's inflation, part of it's also how we've seen AI companies ramp. But it used to be, okay, the goal was, can you get some seed money from an investor to get to $1 million in revenue? Then that should hopefully be good enough for your Series A. So you can get, if you have $1 million in revenue, then you'll raise money to potentially get to $3 million in revenue. The math has completely changed now. And so now, especially for an enterprise startup, they're like, okay, no. You need to show us $2 to $3 million in revenue now, and you have to go to 3x that for the seed. So now it's almost an order of magnitude up in terms of how you need to raise money from institutional investors. And that's why I say don't raise money from institutional investors like me. I think it was a great talk about bootstrapping your company. I think there are a lot of great XR companies and founders I know that didn't play the VC game and just built a great lifestyle business, but a successful business doing interesting work. And I think there's still a lot of opportunity to be done there, especially in this day and age. And I wouldn't force yourself to go down the investment route unless you really feel like you have a company that has a shot to get to 100 million in revenue in less than 5 years. Right, that's the math now. Okay, I think that's it. Returning my time.